اطلب العلم أخي فهو درب به نور، به ترقى به تحيا عالما حرا فخور. اطلب العلم أخي فهو درب به نور، به ترقى به تحيا عالما حرا فخور.
بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. It's so wonderful to be here and to celebrate this momentous occasion. And I think we must congratulate the community for a wonderful, wonderful achievement. It is not easy actually to be able to pull a project like this with the contributions of a community. So congratulations once again. And you know, I have a bit of a story with Mr. Ahmed Zariqa, Mr. Khalil Shaheen and the center. In 2013, or until then I did not know them. I appeared on Q&A, the ABC Q&A program, and then after the program, I was nervous like hell, by the way, on the program, right? And after the program, by a couple of days, Mr. Ahmed Zariqa gave me a call, and I didn't know Mr. Ahmed Zariqa before, and he said, you know, we saw you on Q&A and would like to invite you to South Australia, to Adelaide, to give a talk. And I said, yeah, I'll be happy to come down. Mind you, I've never, ever planned in my life to come to Adelaide. But it is a hidden treasure. It's a beautiful, beautiful place. And my wife and I often say, and my son, we say, we never actually planned. It was never on our radar. It's interesting how things change. Until the phone call. And so I came to South Australia and with Mr. Charlie Shaheen and Ahmed Zariqa, you could say they tempted me to come to Adelaide. So I was tempted big time in the way that I saw the vision of a community, that it was a community that was wanting really to step outside of its comfort zone and wanted to engage with the wider community. And I thought that was fantastic. And so lo and behold, I found myself in Adelaide. Yes, I found myself in Adelaide. Don't ask how, but I made it here with my wife and son. And we established, again, with the help of the community, which is a wonderful achievement in itself, we established the Center for Islamic Thought and Education at the University of South Australia. And most of you already know about the center. Now, the uniqueness of the center is the relationship it has with the community. Often you may find, you know, academic centers that are detached from communities. What I believe in, and the colleagues that I have in the center, we believe that the work that we do at university must by necessity have an impact on communities, positive impact. And so the relationship between us as an academic center and the society and the wider community has been exceptionally positive. And it has been a wonderful, wonderful relationship. And I think having a center like this opened by the community is a testimony to the fact that this community has tried endlessly, again and again, and tirelessly to try to send a positive message out there. You know what? Let me be very frank with you. It is so difficult. It is so difficult because you work so hard for so many years, and it only takes one single report in the media, one single statement by high-profile official to undo years of work. And sometimes, and excuse me for saying that, sometimes people who are not within the community can never appreciate the difficulty of that. You know, it's like you have to always go back to square one. However, honestly, the courage and the bravery and the enthusiasm and the determination of the community, including the imams who, honestly, they work 24 hours. The imams are constantly on the go. They're constantly, if they're not leading the prayer, they're responding to a phone call in the midst of the night because somebody needs some help. And for that to be totally ignored is so disappointing. I recall after the Cronulla riots, we all heard, we all know what happened then. And so young people, when I was in Queensland, I got a phone call from my younger brother who said to me, he said, what will we do if the same thing happens in Queensland? Now,
I was an acting imam at the mosque, and I'm saying this to demonstrate the immense work that the community has to put. Right? And so that was 8 p.m. at night, and I said to him, I said, listen, let's meet in the mosque. You know how many young people turned up? 250 young Australian Muslims. All of them concerned about what might happen. And so I was speaking to them at the mosque. This is how important mosques and centers like As-Salam centers are. And people who argue for their closure are actually arguing for something that is counterintuitive. Because it is in these places that you can actually nurture souls. And if you don't want these places, then you will end up with backyard mosques and backyard imams, and that is a problem. And so the 250 young people said to me, what are we going to do? If somebody attacks us, will we attack back? I said, no, you don't. You never take the law into your own hands. Well, what should we do? The police won't listen to us. I said, that's not true. I can arrange for you to meet with the police commissioner immediately. And so we did. The next day, 10 of them met with the commissioner, and that started an engagement strategy with the young people and the police, barbecues and soccers. Sometimes they beat the police, sometimes the police beat them, so on. The point is, honestly, you must never and we must never underestimate the value of the mosques and the role they play and centers like this, because we are dealing with a very wide and cosmopolitan community, and we need to be able to nurture their minds and souls and able to allow them to contextualize their faith in this beautiful nation. So some of the work that the center is doing, for example, in partnership with this center, is things to do with domestic violence. Now, domestic violence is not a particular problem for a particular group. It's a human problem, and we are all responsible to make sure that it doesn't happen. So one of our expertise at the center is tackling domestic violence within faith-based communities, including the Muslim community, in partnership with the center and the imams and the mosques. You know why? Because if we don't have the trust of the community, you will never be able to work on domestic violence issues. You need the access to the community. And that access comes only through trust. And that trust comes through collaboration. And that is what the center is about, and that is what we are about. And also there are many other programs, but I see where is the MC looking at his watch. He might throw a chair at me in a second, so I'm going to stop. Thank you very much, and congratulations once again. Well done. Thank you very much.
اطلب العلم أخي فهو درب به نور به ترقى به تحيا عالما حرا فخور. اطلب العلم أخي فهو درب به نور به ترقى به تحيا عالما حرا فخور.